What is going on, Cavalier faithful? Cleveland Pulse here with some breaking news. Me and Logan, unfortunately, Jeff is going to a wedding today. So now we had me and Jeff, and now it's me and Logan. But we are breaking the news of Darius Garland signing a 5-year max deal for the Cavaliers. Huge numbers. John Morant just got his huge extension, the same exact contract as Darius Garland. This is a big, huge move after a little bit of free agency news yesterday. We get this. You get your point guard of the future, your what you would say your centerpiece as of right now for this team, and you get 5 years of 193 with, what is it, 213 possible?
231, I think, right?
231. That is astronomical. Yeah, Logan, you haven't been here in a minute. Some breaking news. How you feeling?
Well, it's your guy, Justin. It's my guy. It's Cleveland's guy, Darius Garland, signing the largest contract in Cavaliers franchise history. And, you know, a lot of people will look at that number and think, you know, is he as good as Ja? Is he doing this? You know, put all that stuff aside. You know, at the end of the day, it's about impact. It's about where Garland has gotten the Cavaliers. He, in a lot of ways, is responsible for the future that we now have. Everything that we have, all the pieces that come together are mainly because Darius Garland is in that starting five. When it comes to Cleveland, you're not going to get the big names. Not a lot of people want to come to Cleveland unless you have other big names there. And the only way to do that is keep Garland around and continue to let him make a name for himself and continue to develop to being such a good player. You know, so it's good to be on this once again, Justin. Miss you and Jeffrey yesterday, especially with all the free agency news that's going down. But this is definitely a good day for Cleveland. Let's hope Garland lives up to that contract. I really think he will.
Yeah, and you brought up some excellent points, and probably something that I feel like we don't give Kobe a lot of, props on. I think we all recognize that if LeBron James is not here in Cleveland, you're not typically signing big free agent names. And that's just the case. I mean, Jeff has always harped on the Kevin Love deal. That's a retaining deal.
As a everyone, right?
Yeah, a Tristan Thompson deal, and, he was gone. But this just makes sense. Like, these are guys that Kobe drafted. He drafted, and he's making sure that, Darius Garland, the first all-star that we've had since, and, definitive all-star, Jared Allen, obviously an all-star as well, alternate the second time around. But Darius Garland making it to the all-star break and becoming a first-time all-star since Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. Incredible leap that he had this year, led this team to, the closest that we could have been to making the playoffs, going to 2 play-in games.
One damn game away.
Yeah, very heartbreaking end to the season, but he was, at the focal point, and that's kind of the thing. He's getting this huge contract deal, and you look at Jared Allen. Jared Allen got his 5-year extension. So now you got Darius on his 5. You got Jared for another 4. You got Evan Mobley for the foreseeable future, and you've got guys around them that can ball. We've been doing a good job of filling holes, I think, through the draft, through free agency this year. I think we have a lot of good pieces. Who knows if we're done? We're going to talk about that in a later episode or video between me and Logan. But yeah, I think that's a huge point, that you got to retain these guys while they're still here. There's a certain player that we're going to talk about who might not be on that end of the deal. And Jeff brought up an excellent point, and I will, since he's not here, I'll read it for him right off of the top. He said, I'm trying to find, who would have thought a year ago Garland would be getting a max extension and not Sexton? A lot of people would not have expected this. And there are certainly a lot of people who probably not a lot of smart people, and I'll say it bluntly, will try to argue that Sexton should still get that deal over Garland. But at the end of the day, we saw our best record since LeBron James left with Darius Garland leading the helm.
Yeah, he's the man. This is the guy that we want to put all of our stock in, the guy that I'm certainly investing in if I have a choice between him and Sexton. I've said it a million times. I'll say it a million more. I think Sexton's a great player. I think he's a great talent. I think he fits this Cavaliers team? Maybe. Do I think he fits in a backcourt Darius Garland? I've never believed he does. I love the whole Sexton thing. That's fun. That's cute. I get it. Yeah, awesome for sure. And you know what? I think at times it can be explosive. It can be dynamic. But we saw, and I said this, I think, in a video 8-9 months ago, the Sexton backcourt worked for 20, 25 games. And then it started getting exposed a little bit. You're lacking defensively big time. You're lacking size. Sexton and Garland play off each other well. Sexton has the speed. He's got the scoring capability. Garland has more of the I'm doing it all. I'm playmaking. I can score if I need to. And to me, I think with this Cavs team, especially when it's a young team that the Cavaliers have, one of the youngest in the league, you need a floor general. You don't need a scorer. You can get a scorer from anywhere. Not to say Sexton is completely one-dimensional, but I do think that's what he leans on. I think anybody, even the Sexton fans, will admit, yeah, he can score 24 points a game like he did a couple of seasons ago. But what else is he doing? Yes, 4 assists. Yes, 3 rebounds. I'm hearing you. I get it. Numbers are numbers. Yep. And Garland, look at his numbers. They look pretty damn good as well, which makes you wonder, but because of this, that means Sexton should... No, I'm sorry. It goes down to impact. It goes back to the structure of the team. I will go back to that Warriors, Steph Curry and Monte Ellis backcourt. They picked Steph, and they saw heights they never thought they'd ever see. Garland is a player last year that took us to heights we thought we would not see last season. That's the reason, ultimately, he gets the contract and Sexton doesn't.
Yeah, and I mean, that's... not to stay on the topic of, our team right now, I want to keep it to Darius Garland. Logan, just let's talk about the comparison of Ja Morant. I believe not even a week ago gets his contract extension. He won Most Improved Player of the Year. Obviously, we had the conversation of Darius Garland and Ja Morant. I think we've talked about those two very often, actually, in comparison to one another. Yeah. And, Jeff has like a great eye on how the Grizzlies do without Ja Morant, but the same can be said about like Darius Garland and how when Darius Garland's off the court or out of a game, it's a steep decline from what we have now. And it's interesting that it's like you get Ja Morant, who I think is a league favorite. I wouldn't call Darius Garland a league favorite by fan standards. Now players, it seems like players around the league respect him and that probably think he deserved this. Hopefully that means in the future we can attract some of those bigger name guys. Hopefully he can get up to that level of a Kyrie Irving or LeBron James in terms of appeal to other superstars that want to play with him and want to play with his game.
Sure. I mean, you look at it. God, I don't know why I keep going to our friends in Golden State, but Steph Curry, I mean, people eventually wanted to play with him, right? Yeah. Not to say Garland might get to those heights, but who knows? He's so young. Steph wasn't anything special with the 3 years. I mean, he was a hell of a shooter, but no one knew much else outside of that until around that 2012, 2013 season when we started coming alive. You look at a guy like Giannis. I mean, to an extent, maybe not all stars come to play with Giannis, but all these role players that get you to win championships certainly do. It also helps when you have, a good front office that makes the appropriate moves to do so. But there's plenty of players in the NBA's history, that they were drafted and talent followed. I think one exception to that could be like Damian Lillard, right? People actually ran away. LaMarcus Aldridge left. They ended up having trade CJ McCollum eventually. There's certainly exceptions, but that's what you have to do when you're in a small market, when you're not in the big market. You need to build your own stars. And honestly, you got to be damn good at drafting. I mean, we've talked about this. I think anybody will talk to you about this. All the experts out there in the world will tell you, you're going to have to draft well if you're not in a big market. And so far, the Cavaliers have done that to a T. When you talk about Mobley, you talk about Garland, then you have a solid, great trade for Jared Allen. Your core is there. Now it's about making the right pieces. Now it's about making those core pieces get better to when you can start to expect maybe some other talent coming back. I mean, I heard Kevin Durant's available, but that's what I'm saying is I think there's been a lot of good things going on when it comes to how we draft, but the biggest part of it is these players turning into the players we expect them to be. Garland's on track, Mobley, absolutely. Now we just keep rolling.
Yeah, no, and those are great points about you have to draft well. And, as much as you do hate talking about the Warriors, I think the Steph comparison's a good one in terms of progression. You go and you look at his progression, the dude doesn't eclipse averaging 24 points until his 5th season. And even then, the next season, he dips slightly underneath that. And then, 6th season in 2015, he gets to 31 points. That's when you're like, that's progression. And that's, everyone likes to talk about, Sexton's progression as a scorer. And yeah, that's great when you can score 24 points, but the other stats that Steph Curry has, you look at him, he's never averaged anything below 5 assists. And that's just a phenomenal thing. And it's gotten better. So has his rebounds, and so is his overall game in general. His steals are actually way better than I ever recognized. But the progression of an overall build is what is important. I think we saw Garland take, steps in the right direction defensively last year, and great strides in other, areas of his game. So that's going to be the key moving forward. Logan, I don't want us to keep rambling, but, All-Star Gar, Darius Garland, whatever other nicknames we can think of, DG the PG, he's here, another 5 years, great player. What are your closing thoughts?
5 years, 193 million. Like I said, that's a pretty penny. What does it come out to? I think it was like 38 million a year or something. Jeff said, I can't do the math off the top of my head right now, but this is NBA money nowadays, right? I mean, the salary cap continues to go up. If you want to keep your players, you're going to have to pay them more in today's day and age. I think I was a bit, I wouldn't say miffed, because I think Garland deserved it. The only thing I'm nervous about is kind of like, with JB Bickerstaff, has a good run, immediately gets a 5-year contract, right? The thing is, though, you can't sit and wait, and you have to make that decision fast. And the Cavaliers decided to do it, cost be damned. And I think I actually respect that in this sense. 5 years, 193 million. I don't know what would have been a better contract for Garland. I don't know what the number is, what he should have gotten, because he's still young. He's obviously still developing. He's still going to get better. I think at the end of the day, this contract is the right contract. It locks up our point guard for the foreseeable future. And at the end of the day, the Cavaliers have stability with this deal. And that's what I care about the most. Really happy for Garland. I'm excited to see what his future holds.
Yeah, and I think the one other thing to note about this, and this is probably something up Jeff's alley, is that this is before the TV deal where money goes up even more, and his contract probably would have been more. So, yeah, getting it done, at the perfect time, I think, which is phenomenal for the future point guard remaining here for the next 5 years, Darius Garland. Cavs folks, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe. Tell us how you guys are feeling about this deal, how you're feeling about Darius Garland, how you feeling about the makeup of this team right now. Go check out our other videos that we recorded. Me and Jeff did a couple videos these past week. And yeah, let us know what you guys think, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.